Whether you're a fan of an NFL team or a fan of the NFL draft, or if you're a fantasy football dynasty GM, today is round 2 of This Show Is For You. The NFC's top rookie impact offensive skill players for the 2025 NFL season. That's a lot to spit out. And of course, we're drafting it. We got time, baby, because we're a cool 346 days away from the NFL draft. Mensch, you good?
I'm good.
I'm good too. Thanks for asking. Hit it, Todd. I like doing it. I don't know if anyone's watching, and judging by some of the numbers, like where'd everyone go? Let's go. Off season's here. Mensch and I are here. Mensch is in a dark room. He'll get some lights going soon. I love this.
It does look dark in here, right?
It does. It does.
What is going on with
It's
that?
sunny out too. I don't know about up in New Hampshire, but it's beautiful.
I got the windows open. It's bright in the room. I feel like I got to work on that.
All right, rookie impact offensive skill players for the NFC. We did the AFC on Thursday, and mentioned we're trying to make it fun, trying to keep it interesting here. We got to draft everything. I mean, we put 5 names of restaurants in a hat, and we wind up, we wind up drafting them and going back, and we draft anything. No quarterbacks, okay? No quarterbacks are allowed in this exercise. And honestly, it's the running back, tight end, and wide receiver positions. And here's how we decided to do it. If you didn't watch Thursday's episode, go check it out. We did the AFC. Today's the NFC. We get essentially 5 picks throughout the course of the draft. Mention I do. We get 1 pick from the first round, and it's a snake draft. So one of us will go first. Then the second person up gets 2 picks, and then you go all the way down. 1 pick from the first round, 1 from the second round, 2 from rounds 3 through 5, and then another pick from the 6th and 7th round. And then we also have to draft the undrafted free agents, because why not? Of course.
Of course.
That's it. Running backs, wide receiver. So to fill out our roster, it's got to be a running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and then a flex. We're kind of getting these fantasy football folks involved a little bit. So
Fantasy guys.
Yeah, we'll give you a little flex action. So that could be a running back, a wide receiver, or a tight end. You got the rules. Let's go. Hey, thanks for being here. We always appreciate it. Mensch, give him the spiel. You haven't given the spiel in a while.
Yeah, I hope I get it right. If you're listening on Spotify, hit the follow button. If you're checking us out on YouTube, which I'm better on Spotify. I mean, you don't really need to see this face, but if you're checking us out on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. He's at McShay13. I'm at You Good Mensch. That's Muench. What's going on with the McShay Report right now? We got anything coming up?
Yeah, we do. We're actually going to go through some of this stuff and take a deep dive into the offensive skill position players. I get some exciting news.
Awesome.
Dan doesn't know about it yet. Tucker doesn't know about it yet. Mark doesn't know about it yet.
You make people nervous when you do this. You know that, right?
I know. Just like I don't even know if Connor knows. Connor's our executive producer.
This should be good.
I told you I'm going to be transparent with all this shit, right? I just 5 minutes ago texted with Connor, and apparently I have he's on the West Coast. I've got a meeting with him in the morning while he's walking the dog. Because I said we got to talk tomorrow morning. I'm too excited. I've talked to Marissa about
when you say tomorrow morning, what time? What time are you calling this poor man?
10 a.m. Eastern.
Okay, 7.
I've got another call. I've got another business call at 11, and I plan to hit the golf. I plan to hit the golf links soon. Nice. By the way, another thing. If you work for a golf company or have a friend for the golf company, I'm just throwing it all out there today. We're in talks right now. Mensch is becoming a golfer. Give everyone a 30-second. What's your history with golf, Mensch?
I've played it on and off, never really fallen in love with it. But as I'm getting older, I just like getting out. My son plays a lot. I want to be able to go out and play with my son. I want to be able to call you up and go, let's go play. My excuse has always been that my clubs aren't too long, man. So I'm going to take the time. I'm going to invest in some clubs that are actually for Shrek size and see if we can make that will make me a better player. But I'm excited to get into it, man.
So to peel the curtain back a little bit, well, Mench and I, we don't have a great track record with rental cars. And I'm not.
Rental trucks, you mean?
Right. So at the combine, we got to the whatever ticket counter or the counter, and it's like, oh, go and you can pick from this aisle of. I'm not going to mention.
All right, let me tell this story, please.
Okay, please.
So it's Todd, Marissa, and I have landed in Indianapolis for the combine. We're all very excited. Todd's, fancy. He's got that. What's the club called? It's Gold Club?
Yes.
You go out to the lot and basically Todd can pick whatever car he wants. Marissa and I are being reasonable and we are looking at these mid-sized, SUVs. There is this one truck that is, I don't even know. It's like 12 feet tall. I mean, it's
bordering on a monster truck.
And we're all looking at Todd's eyes just right to that truck. Couldn't get his eyes off of it. I'm like, no, he's not really going to get that. Sure enough, we are driving out of the Indianapolis airport in that truck. He's having the best time of his life driving this thing around.
Because I like to be absurd.
We're dying laughing. We think it's funny.
We're pulling up to hotels with general managers and head coaches.
Right.
And so I'm trying to make a scene. I'm trying to fly in under the radar with my monster truck. Every time I hit
throw the luggage in the back. We had to get it in and then we realize after we park, oh my God, we have to put our luggage in the cab now. So it's just a mess. Finally, the way this ends is we pull up to the hotel.
First hotel, yeah, go ahead.
To park the truck, and they're like, dude, what do you want me to do with that?
Yeah.
Like, there is no way we can park that.
The guy actually brought out a sheet. He's like, hold on 1 second. He goes, I don't want you to think that I'm lying and doing that. I just don't want to park it. This is like the official slip from this hotel. These are the cars that are so obnoxious that we don't park. There's no room for them in the garage. So that's Indianapolis. So fast forward, we get out to LA. The draft ends in LA. Beautiful studios we were in with the whole crew. Tucker came into town. We had Mark, we had Dan, we had Connor, we had Eduardo, we had everyone, right?
The All-Star. It was the All-Star weekend.
But we show up to LA and LA style, and I don't know the politics and current situations and owners of cars, but we're driving in, we have a Tesla. And I'm not a cyber truck. Let's put it that tiny. So we're staying out in Manhattan Beach and driving into the city. And anyone who's it's an hour commute every day, give or take 50 minutes, right?
Right.
And so I always drive because Mench has been his driving rights have been revoked by me unless it's an emergency.
Because I'm a little too conservative for you.
A little too, yes. And so Mench is packed. The reason I'm telling this story, the Mench is packed into this Tesla and his legs are up. And he's talking to me about golf. He's telling me his history with golf and he blames his clubs. And so he said he's going to go for a fitting. So this is why I'm saying to everyone out there, because Marissa's making calls. I've talked to Cerruti, producer for Rosillo. Apparently there was an opportunity with one golf company. I'm throwing it out there, dibs. And Marissa's going to yell at me. Cerruti's going to be like, what? The ad people for Spotify. I'm telling you right now, first come, first serve. I want nothing more than a fitting. Mench and I go to a golf fitting where we get to watch him with short clubs, long club, all of it. And I want both of us to get fitted for clubs and go out and play a round of golf. And I want Mench to see that it really was never about the clubs.
Just a terrible golfer.
I mean, we all are. But yeah, so I'm throwing it out. Email us. What is it? Email Marissa at McShay Productions. How about that? I'm going to get really yelled at.
Yeah, this could be a problem.
Yeah.
By the way, you missed the worst part of the Tesla. Every time
Tucker wants clubs too.
Nice. Let's go.
I think
they all do.
Clubs for the crew. Clubs for the crew.
Every time we parked the Tesla and I got out, the driver's side window rolled down for no reason, and we couldn't get it to roll up before we went in.
You got to be really smart to drive a Tesla.
I don't know what's happening there, man. Like I can't even figure out the door handles half the time.
It's a smooth ride. I'll say that, but my goodness, there's a lot of like, okay. So that's that.
Are you going to get into what you're going to talk to Connor about, or are you just?
Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm worked up. I get excited when we
No, it's good.
On here. Yeah, I'm not going to get into exactly what we're going to talk about, but I'm excited to tell you if the meeting goes well. And Connor's usually, he'll tell me. He normally tries to walk me off the ledge. As his line to Marissa was, and Marissa now uses it almost on the daily. Sometimes with certain people, you have to protect them from themselves.
It's so true, though.
And it is true with me. I'm self-aware, and that sometimes I have to be protected against myself. I'd be doing 9 shows a week, and but I think this is going to be a happy. I want to provide for the people what they want, and I think through combing through all these different things, and also going back and looking at the numbers on shows, looking at some of the comments, I'm not going to get into specifics now, but I think you and I talked. Marissa and I talked. I think we have a better plan for serving our audience and to do it in a way that reflects what we're doing. And so I'm excited to get into all that. Today, however, and it's part of it. I like, to me, like, what's more exciting than the offensive skill position players in a given draft? And not only for teams that are, or fans that are fans of a certain team, people who just love the draft, love the NFL, who are the guys coming in this class that, like, on Sundays when I'm watching on Red Zone, or I'm gambling, or I've got my fantasy team, who are the guys that are going to make a big impact? And for these dynasty owners for fantasy football, who are the guys that I can get a jump on? I get a lot of texts starting this month every year. Dynasty fantasy football leagues coming up. Who are the? Come on, give me a tip.
Right. Who are the rookies that I'm going to get?
Don't call Chuck back. Just tell me. So here we are. NFC. We covered the AFC last week. You can check it out on YouTube and go back and watch. And the McShay Report, we took a week off, and we're going to fire things back up, and it's coming. It's coming. I think later this week. So, and if you follow me at McShay13, get all the updates there. Follow Muench at YouGoodMench, YOUGOODMUENCH at YouGoodMench. And so away we go. Who's got the first pick?
You do. I took the first pick with the AFC. Only fair that you get the first pick here.
Okay. I've got my list, right? This is a tough. So here's the deal. We thought when we were looking at the AFC, we're like, well, there's got to be a lot more playmakers on the NFC. Not as much as I hoped. Especially thins out later, but there wasn't the volume. I thought I was going to have to make a real tough decision here, and it's not necessarily an easy one. Here are the 4 guys in the first round you could choose from: running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. There were 3 receivers taken and a tight end. The first off the board was Tetairoa McMillan, 8 overall to Carolina. The second was 10 overall, a tight end, Colston Loveland out of Michigan, going to Chicago. Then you had Tampa Bay at 19, drafted wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. And then 4 picks later, you had my favorite receiver in the draft, Matthew Golden out of Texas, going to Green Bay. Packers finally take a first-round receiver. So of those 4 players, I'm going with Colston Loveland. I'm going with Colston Loveland to Chicago because you got 2 jobs as a tight end, as any pass catcher. There are 2 critical things you got to do, and they're so simple, but they're really hard to do, especially when you get to the NFL. You got to get open. You got to catch the football. I mean, we could vertical jump you, broad jump you, 3-cone you, 40-yard dash you to death. We can, there's so many different things that go into all these elements, but at the end of the day, get open, catch the football. Colston Loveland does that better than most tight ends that ever come out of the NFL draft. Both of those things. 93rd percentile he was in separation. I can sit here and break down that, like the way he stems his routes, getting in and out. He creates separation with his feet a lot like bigger wide receivers do. And a lot of these tight ends, you hear the phrase late separation because they can't do it with their feet, but they body guys out. They have a really good feel in soft spots in zone and all that stuff. They go contested catches, traffic catches. He can do a lot of those things, but what Loveland does is he separates with his feet. And then he had 2 drops. Think about these quarterbacks that were throwing him the football, especially last year. He only had 2 drops in 2023 and 2024 combined. So separate, catch the ball. And then I think about the system.
And he's more than that too, though. I mean, you're right about that. I agree with you. We get caught up in all that stuff. But yeah, he gets open, he catches the ball, and then I think he's more dangerous after the catch than maybe people realize. He has the speed to stretch the field. He's a playmaker. So yeah, you're right. He does that better than.
I was just going to say, as you said with Mason Taylor, and you were dead right. We both have been saying this for a while. I fully expect we're going to see more from Loveland in the NFL. Routes down the field, more creativity. It's going to really showcase his ability to separate. So then I look at, all right, let's look at Detroit a year ago, right? They had Sam Laporta. They didn't really have their second tight end was down the line. I went back and looked. There wasn't a major impact from a TE2 on that offense. But then I looked at who's the number 3 receiver on this team. Oh, it's a big guy. Tim Patrick. 6'5", 210. And he was 3rd in the team in receptions for a receiver, okay? I think that's kind of the role that he's going to play with Cole Kmet in Chicago. Obviously, talking about Ben Johnson as the OC for the Lions a long time. How's he going to try to utilize him? So and you got a second-year quarterback coming off of a really difficult rookie season. 2 tight ends. We'll see more 12. But essentially, it'll be – if it's 12 personnel, that's 2 receivers, 2 tight ends, 1 running back. By all intents and purposes, it's kind of like 31. It's 3 receiver, 1 back, or 11 personnel, I should say. I have 31, but 3 receivers.
Yes, sorry, correct.
Yeah, 11 personnel.
I should have corrected you. Yeah,
but so that's the fit I see. I just think. There's a reason they took him over Tyler Warren too. It's kind of like we talked about with the
fit, yeah.
Sean Payton, and I know Sean Payton's making that call. I know that when Ben Johnson gets his job and he turns to the general manager Ryan Poles and his assistant general manager Ian Cunningham is like, I have a clear vision for this guy, and it's something that fits what I want to do better than even Tyler Warren, who was like 5th, 6th, 7th on a lot of teams' boards. So that's why I went with Loveland here over some of the receivers. Where are you going? You have 2 picks now.
It's interesting. We're going to get back to that, why I think that's an interesting pick there. I like the fit. I like the production. I think he's going to get the touches. So I like all of that, but we'll get back to that in a second. I will say that this was tough for me because I want to give you a hard time. I took Tetairoa McMillan, the receiver from Arizona, who was taken 8th overall by Carolina.
Okay.
I really love Matthew Golden, and I love Jordan Love. Like, that's a great situation for him. Other than it's such a deep receiving room right now, I wonder about touches. That's something that kind of concerns me. Same thing with Tampa taking a Emeka Egbuka, who's going to be a very good pro receiver. I've said that all along. I thought first round was early, but he's still going to be a very good pro. But it's also there's a lot of mouths to feed in that offense, right? Mm-hmm. With Tetairoa McMillan, I don't feel the same. I feel like, yes, they took Xavier Legette last year, another big-bodied receiver. He had some drops. You're hoping that he's going to elevate his game this year. Not there yet. I think that Tetairoa McMillan steps in as wide receiver 1 on day 1. You don't take a receiver at 8th overall and pass on some of the edge guys that they passed on unless you're expecting. And all the reporting about, Bryce Young and him are both from California or the West Coast, that area. Played against each other in high school. Bryce Young really wanted McMillan to come in. That to me sounds like this is a kid who's excited to throw to him. So I'm looking at that volume. I'm looking at the talent. And yes, I think that 8 was too early for McMillan, but it's a good landing spot. And then you're hoping that Bryce Young is able to continue what he did over the second half of the season. So if all of those things come together, I think McMillan could have a monster year despite of all the stuff that's gone on leading up to the draft. So that's why I went in that direction with my first pick. I will say this. You have managed the board poorly at this point.
Thank you.
You have.
How?
Because there are only 3 second-round skill players available, right?
Yeah.
2 of them are tight ends. If I take Luther Burden here from Chicago, you're starting your draft with 2 tight ends.
So take him.
I'm not taking him. I can't take him. You know why I can't take him? Because I like Elijah Arroyo, the receiver, the tight end that came out of Miami.
So it sounds like you messed up because you got that Santa beard and you're a nice guy and all that.
No. I just want to let you know that you left yourself vulnerable. It's not about me hurting you. It's about me making the best team available. I could embarrass you right now. I'm not going to do it because it's what's best for my organization.
More than that to embarrass me, but go ahead.
I'm not spiteful, That's just not the guy I am. I like to pat myself on the back a little bit about that.
I would have stuck it to you, but go ahead.
I'm taking Elijah Arroyo. They still got Noah Fant, who had a pretty good year last year, by the way. He had 500 yards receiving, I think. Going into a contract year, I think Arroyo is a upgrade over Fant. I like Fant coming out. I think Noah Fant's been a very good, not great tight end. I think Elijah Arroyo, if he stays healthy, is going to be a great tight end in the league. I think he's a guy, if he didn't have the medical stuff, that he had a real chance to go in the first round. I believe that. And I know he was the 4th tight end off the board he went out after Ferguson too, right? He went after Taylor.
Yeah, that was shocking to me.
Was he the 5th tight end? Maybe after Warren, Loveland, Ferguson, and Taylor. So he was the 5th tight end off the board. I think we're going to look back at that. I really believe we're going to look back at that and say, wow, this tight end class was awesome. There's a lot of playmakers from that class. But how was Arroyo 5th? He should have been earlier. And you look at Sam Darnold. He had a good year in Minnesota. Didn't end well. I'm hoping he's able to hit the ground running in Seattle.
Good year in Minnesota.
He did. It just didn't end well. You're right.
Yes.
I think you are on the same boat as me on this. That I've been a Sam Darnold believer since he was drafted. I believe he has all the talent to be a great quarterback in the league. I'm hoping he just continues to elevate his game. That's what we're thinking. I know Fant's there. I think Arroyo is going to supplant him eventually as the number 1 tight end. He's going to get enough touches to have a big year.
Okay. So I start with Colston, Loveland.
Mm-hmm.
You went Tet McMillan and Elijah Arroyo. You kept me with the opportunity to take a wide receiver here with Luther Burden, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. 39th pick overall. I mean, let's just call it what it is. There's some externals that come with him and some growing up and some practice habits and all that kind of stuff. And his 2024 tape wasn't as good as his 2023 tape. But there's a reason why, again, Ben Johnson came in and was like, yeah, but we need this guy. He's a matchup piece. And I can utilize him in screens, and I can utilize him in like reverses and as a decoy at times. But I want to get this guy the ball in his hands. We hear the Deebo Samuel comp a lot. 6 foot, 200 pounds, 4'4", 140. You go back to 2023, man, and there's a reason why we're talking about him potentially top 10 coming into the season, right? He was 9th in the FBS with 1,212 receiving yards. Okay. And you look at what he can do with, like I said, with the ball in his hands. And then I look at like his route running ability. He's not polished yet, but man, he corners on rails and he is so sudden. I think he's got an ability to develop in that regard. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown for Detroit, where Ben Johnson was the go-to guy, and he can play inside out, but he was a slot receiver by trade. And then I look at even though Luther Burden still is developing, I think as a route runner, he was 94th percentile in separation. So it's just he is just naturally sudden and quick and fast. I think he's going to come in the league, and I think he's going to have a huge year. I really do. And I know you've got Odunze, who they're expecting to take another step after a solid but not great rookie year, especially compared to some of the other guys like Malik Neighbors and Marvin Harrison Jr., what he kind of did, after a rough early start. Brian Thomas Jr., we had some phenomenal rookie years last year at wide receiver. And I think Odunze will take another step. I think this entire offense will. Protected better in the interior. 3 veterans, center and 2 guard spots. You've got Ben Johnson there. You got Loveland at tight end. You got Odunze. And while I'm saying this, I recognize I'm saying, well, there's a lot of weapons. Is he going to get production? I still think he is. I still think he's, but I recognize it might not. It's not going to be like Brian Thomas Jr. type production. He's not. He's probably going to be a number 3 in this equation, and maybe he and Loveland are kind of fighting for spots, fighting for production from the slot spots in this offense. But I look at that. It like he's a 3 right away,
right?
And he's a slot, and I think there's some Amon-Ra stuff that is going to wind up being what he's allowed to go do.
Yeah, I've been busting your chops about this the whole time about how we're fantasy guys now, because we're not fantasy guys. We're just not fantasy guys. And really, this draft is about impact, right? So maybe we're looking at it through the wrong lens a little bit, or maybe I am. I should say maybe I am. If Burden is able to make plays out of the slot and free up, more on the outside and free up a Dunze on the outside and help open up that offense, and he catches, whatever amount of balls for 500 yards, but he makes that offense that much harder to defend. That's what we're talking about.
50-ish catches for like six something.
Right.
As a rookie. Yeah.
And if they go to the playoffs and he makes them a playoff, helps make them a playoff. Let's not get carried away. Helps make them a playoff team and all of that stuff. He's done his job. He's made an impact. He's made a significant impact in the league. So it's not necessarily, I've been joking around the fantasy stuff. It's not necessarily about the final numbers. It's about the impact you have on the offense.
All right. With my second pick this round in the snake draft, I'm going to surprise people. I'm not going to go chalk in the big name. I'm not going to be a kiss ass like my counterpart here, Muench, and make Tucker happy. So he'll put up better graphics and do his.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying.
Cam Skattebo, who's Tucker's guy.
I have not turned my card in yet, so I don't know how you know.
But I think that's kind of the chalk here. You got a handful of receivers. We're now in rounds 3 through 5. Okay, folks. 3 receivers were the first 3 guys off the board in terms of the skill position players in rounds 3 through 5. Isaac Tesla, Savion Williams, and Ty Felt. The next offensive skill guy was Cam Skattebo, taken by the Giants at 105. I'm actually going to take the 149th player drafted, Jaydon Blue from Dallas, from Texas, going to the Dallas Cowboys. His NFL comp is Tony Pollard, bro. Like
how you like that, bro?
And I get a new offensive coordinator, all that, but like they've got a clear vision for what he's going to be, and Dak likes that guy. Versatility, outlet, catching the ball in the backfield. I recognize Javonte Williams is going to be there between the tackles, pounder, but that's the role he played at Texas this last year,
right?
And last year he still led the team with 8 rushing touchdowns. Okay.
He doesn't need a lot of touches, man.
He doesn't need a lot of touches. He only started 5 games, played in all 15, though. 134 carries, averaged 5.4. Also had 42 catches and almost 9 yards per catch, 6 receiving touchdowns. That's 14 touchdowns for a guy who was technically a backup. And he showed up in big moments when they needed him in the playoff. Ran a 4.38 at the combine. This guy's a burner with hands, shifty, elusive, quick. I see a clear vision for him as the number 2 back in a rotation for Dallas. And I mean, they clearly invested back in the interior offensive line with their first pick, right? So, yeah, I think Blue is going to have, it's 140. It's hard to get the type of impact that I think Blue is going to provide for Dallas at the, around the 150 marker of the draft.
Right. I don't hate it. You know why I don't hate it?
Because Cam
Tucker, can you believe it? Tucker, can you believe it? He left me Cam Skattebo. Can you believe it?
Go ahead.
Dude, this is a no-brainer. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had a good year last year. He did not have a great year. I think he's a former wide receiver. I think Skattebo could be their number 1 back. And
Scam
Tyrone Tracy,
right.
I mean, Cam Skattebo. Did I say scam? Damn it.
Yes.
Cam Skattebo. He should be their number 1 back because he's that guy. He's the guy you can give 30 carries a game. He's going to help you in the passing game too, but Tyrone Tracy could be that more complimentary back. Devin Singletary, who they signed last year, average under 4 yards a carry. He's going to have a big bounce back. We'll see how that goes. And even though Skattebo was taken in the 4th round, that's when we really saw the run on running backs, and there's a lot of talented guys there. And the Giants clearly targeted Skattebo because of his skill set, which is he is going to run dudes over. He's going to carry guys for yards. He's going to run through tackles. And again, you've seen it. He can carry that heavy workload. I think this is a home run for us that you left this guy on the board. I like Jaydon Blue. He's going to be a nice player. I think Cam Skattebo is going to be, a potential, number one back. So to me, we're running to turn in the card here.
Did you see him standing next to Abdul Carter?
No.
In minicamp the other day?
No, I don't want to. I don't want to talk about it.
It'll make me nervous.
You think? Because come on, man. Come on, man. Jaydon Blue is smaller than he is.
I'm joking.
So I'm up again, right?
No, I love running backs who run 4.65. I think it's wonderful.
Don't even start with me with the 4.65 running backs. What are you are so hung up on speed. It's crazy.
No, I'm not. I like Skattebo a lot. I'm just playing the role today. I promise.
Yeah, you're just trying to needle me because I hit 40 times.
All right. All joking aside, though, it will be interesting, right? Because
right.
Tracy did have almost 900, over 800 yards rushing last year. This will light a fire under Singletary.
Yes, it was a good back, but did not have a good year.
Correct. So
there's an opening.
Now it's like, you used pick 105, which is 4th round, but that was probably like the, 6th, 7th running back taken on a running back. And so there's going to be some motivation there. It will be interesting to see how it plays out.
And hopefully
I know this. Brian Daboll loves this guy.
Right.
And this was Brian, just like we talked about Sean Payton and Ben Johnson. He's looking for a guy who's like this kind of makeup and mentality and power rushing for his offense. So he's going to get every shot to get his carries and more.
Right. And you're hoping the passing game is a little bit better too, which means less, loaded boxes, which could open up the running game for them a little bit. All of those things could come into play, I get to go again, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with the Commanders, taking Jaylin Lane out of Virginia Tech.
You're an asshole.
I know your guy. I love taking your guy.
Because I get another pick in this 3 through 5 range.
Yeah.
Now
you know what? Yeah. I'm not the nice guy. Now I'm getting a little spiteful.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like the way you were talking to me. It was all wrong. So now we're going to take Jaylin Lane out of Virginia Tech.
Okay.
You traded for Debo. Terry McLaurin is an absolute stud. I think that number 3 spot is a little, you got Noah Brown back. Is Luke McCaffrey going to take that next step? Maybe they could. Give me Jaylin Lane and his 4.36 speed. Guy who runs, he's a little undersized, but again, we talked about this before. He's a little undersized, but we got into this thing where it's not tiny.
No, he's not
tiny. So I'm looking at him and saying he's probably their number 5 receiver going to camp with the potential to move up. To be, it's not out of the question that he's the number 3 receiver. They
couldn't get him the ball at Virginia Tech, man.
No.
And think about how quickly Jaydon gets the ball out on screens.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah. And now you've got Jaden Daniels, who is an absolute rocket, who is just seems to be getting better every single time he steps on the field, and how great a year he had. And can he continue to elevate? They're putting all these weapons around him. And look, that Commanders roster, as good as they were last year in that run they made, that roster was a little, they've made that that is a much better team on paper. We'll see how it all plays out. And if you have Debo and McLaurin, how are you going to handle Jaylin Lane when he gets a 2-way go working out of the slot and could put guys in an absolute blender? I look at that and I'm betting on the upside. I'm betting on that kid climb up. And then you look at him in the punt return game. I think he's going to get a real shot to be their punt returner and help them out in that area as well.
Yeah, I did a radio show hit last week, I think Thursday or Friday with Washington. And, going through every pick, it was like, Connerly, right tackle, guard. Trey Amos shouldn't have been there available. Yeah, I guess some late concern about his back, but he could be a really good fit. I'm like, Jaylin Lane, let's go. He's like, this is an unusual amount of energy for a 4th round pick or 5th, right? 5th round.
Was he 5th?
No, He was 128. He was later in the 4th. Sorry.
Right. He had to be fourth because that's where, yeah. Yep. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So I have one remaining pick in that 3 through 5 range, rounds 3 through 5 range. I'm going Tory Horton here. Need another receiver. Quite honestly, like, yeah, need another receiver. And I had Horton as a 3rd, 4th round grade, that range. Okay. I think his upside is a number 3. I don't think he'll be anything worse than a number 4. His absolute ceiling would be as a number 2, I think. But at the end of the day, like I just like this guy. I thought he was underrated compared to some, like, I liked him more than Jaylin Royals. I liked him more than some other guys that people were really high on.
I'm trying to look it up now. He's coming off an injury, right? Like, okay.
A season-ending knee injury in mid-October.
Probably would have gone earlier without that. So let's
absolutely.
Okay, go ahead.
He spent his first 2 seasons at Nevada, highly productive, over 1,000 yards receiving this first couple of years. Then he transfers to Colorado State, and 3 seasons there, 198 catches, Mensch. 20, and it wasn't 3. It was 3. It was 2 seasons and like 5 or 6 games in 2024. 26-35 receiving yards, 17 receiving touchdowns. The thing I liked about him, a couple things. Everyone was like, like the speed and the return game. And yes, like he has experience in the punt return game and he's really good with the ball in his hands. I thought he tracked the ball beautifully downfield.
Yes, I agree.
And I also thought he was a more advanced route runner than a lot of these other like late 2nd, 3rd, 4th round guys. I see him as a player that didn't. Yeah, it was the knee. But now you look at Seattle, right? We got a retooled wide receiver group. DK's gone. Tyler Lockett's gone. Okay. I mean, they brought in Cooper Kupp, who's been dealing with injuries and age. You got the letters now. You got Cooper Kupp, JSN, and MVS, right? Jackson Smith and Jigba. Jackson Smith and Jigba is the guy.
Right. That's what I thought you were talking about. But yeah, go ahead.
Cooper Kupp is going to be there too. And then MVS is just inconsistent.
Yeah, man. He always leaves you wanting more. There's some great stuff there. And then you're like,
phenomenal when he catches the football.
Right.
But my point is, as a 5th round pick, Horton's getting more opportunity than like almost ever. He's got a chance legitimately to come in and be the number 4 immediately and maybe supplant Marquez Scantling.
That's what you're looking for right now.
Yeah. So I got value there. I like that.
Okay.
You're up.
Did you go? Am I?
Do I have one more?
I think you have one more, right? You have am I right about that? The snake draft throws me off, man. Did you talk about anyone before Horton? I thought you just went Horton.
Oh, yeah. Devin Neal. I'm taking Devin Neal.
You're who's the asshole now, buddy? How many times have I talked about Devin Neal on this podcast?
So much that no one wants to hear it again, so I get to talk about it now.
Go.
Here's the thing with Devin Neal. He's Mr. Kansas, man.
Yeah.
In the day and age of transfer portal, leave early as a running back, all that stuff. 4 years there.
The numbers are outrageous.
I'm looking at it right. 760 carries. Not ideal, in terms of longevity in the NFL, but like we're talking about this year as a rookie, 4,300 plus rushing yards. He averaged almost 6 yards per carry throughout his career. 49 rushing touchdowns. Also caught the ball 77 times. I think it was 70 in the last 3 years. Not huge numbers. Yeah, 70 in the last 3 years when he was a starter. But he leads as Kansas's all-time leading rusher in everything. School records too. School records, rushing touchdowns, rushing yards, scrimmage yards, 100+ yard rushing games, all of it. But what is he as a player? He doesn't have great speed. That hurt him. That's why he fell. That's one of the reasons why he fell. Got to improve in pass protection. He's not going to be a home run hitter in the passing game, but we're talking about a 5th round running back who I think was one of the better running backs in an absolutely loaded class at making guys miss in small spaces. That's what you're always looking for running backs. Like, can they create yards on their own? And the missed tackles, force, all that stuff. But like at the end of the day, can he create Can he make a guy miss in a small space? And he does that. And I look at New Orleans, man, and everyone's like, well, they've got Alvin Kamara. They'll bring him along. Maybe he'll get some, like, and they got Kendre Miller. Yeah, but Miller was like on and off in terms of like them utilizing him. And he was on the IR last year. Okay. And Alvin Kamara, no one wants to talk about it because he's so freaking unbelievable. He turns 30 in July. 30's that number. It's like something happens. Like, there's very few Derrick Henrys in the world, like guys that, that can last.
Yeah, and protect him a little bit, for Christ's sake. Like, take some load off of him. Like, I mean, they ask so much of him in that offense. You're
that's
looking
why
for.
I think Devin Neal's got a chance to be, from a 5th round draft pick, he's got a chance to really make an impact here in New Orleans. Truly, I really do.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Great pick.
Right.
Maybe your best pick of the entire 2 drafts.
I mean, you're your own. Like, I always joke when we're out at like the Senior Bowl, the Combine, the draft out in LA. Like, I have the worst hype crew in the world with you and Marissa, because all you do is tear me down.
It's so true.
It's so true, which is fine. I like it.
We like to keep you balanced, man. We like to keep, knock you down a peg.
Well, it's not like anyone's pumping me up anywhere else. But you're doing a great job as your own hype man today, and last show. So
yeah, I feel like I feel like I have to. And by the way, Devin Neal didn't run a 4.2, right? I just want to make sure you're all right with the fact that Devin Neal ran in the 4.6s. You're all right with it?
So now you don't like Devin Neal. All right,
just want to make sure he's not a track star. My 7th round guy. This one, hear me out on this one, because at first you might be like, dude, they have all these guys there. Hear me out. I'm going with Seattle 7th round pick, running back Damien Martinez out of Miami.
Okay.
Oh, but Kenneth Walker's there. Kenneth Walker missed 5 games last year. Mm-hmm. His average yards per carry has gone down in each of his first 3 seasons in the league. He is going into a contract year, and he's coming off that high ankle sprain. And he didn't have a great year last year. I mean, this point blank did not have a great year. Now their offensive line needed help. There's a lot of stuff that goes into. I get it. But Kenneth Walker, will see what happens. And I think Zach Charbonnet is a good number 2. I think Damien Martinez, at the very least, could play a role on the goal line because of how rugged, tough, and powerful he is. If Kenneth Walker's unable to stay healthy and Charbonnet is the number 1 back, I think Damien Martinez is talented enough that on a lot of teams, he steps in as a rookie as the number 2 back. That might not be in the case in Seattle, but you're looking at 7th. Now you're looking at the 7th round, and the guy is a great number 3 back who's going to push and compete and do everything in his power to move into that top 2, I think. Mm-hmm. And I think he could carve out a role again as a goal line guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Martinez didn't have a ton of carries as a rookie, but had 4, 5, 6 touchdowns, whatever it is, because he's so powerful in short yardage situations. And he's more talented than that. I just think that might be the role he plays early on. And then you're looking at when they have to make a decision if they're going to sign a guy, Kenneth Walker, if they're going to re-sign him, and you have Damien Martinez, they might want to give him some run to see exactly what they got going on there. I think that Damien Martinez, when you look at the talent and you look at the 2 backs ahead of him, and I know they're good, but Walker's been banged up. Martinez might surprise some people and play a bigger role than some people anticipate this year.
Yeah. All right, let's rip. We got 4 UDFAs. You pick one, I pick 2. You pick the final one.
My first one is Falcons taking the San Jose State receiver Nick Nash.
I like that.
Yeah. So look, you have 2 great receivers now. The top 2 with Darnell Mooney, and then Drake London obviously is the alpha. Those 2 receivers, you're looking pretty good as your top 2 receivers. I think Ray McLeod is a good number 3. I don't think he's a liability, but I think you are looking to upgrade if you can. And I think that Nash comes in as a guy who can play on the inside. He can play on the outside. He's great in contested situations. He's quicker than fast, doesn't have great top end speed, but he's quicker than fast. And when you talk about that top end speed getting downfield, he doesn't always have to separate because he's so good in 50-50 situations. So when he doesn't get behind the coverage, he's a guy who's got the frame and the body control and the ball skills to come down with that ball when he's not behind the coverage. So I look at that, and you're hoping that Michael Penix takes off. If you're a Falcons fan, quite honestly, if you're an NFL fan, it would be awesome to see Michael Penix take off in next year for the Falcons.
Yeah.
And so I look at that. I think Nick Nash can maybe work himself. He's a top 5 receiver going into the season, and then maybe works his way up the depth chart a little bit if everything goes well.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with another wide receiver for my first undrafted free agent, Antwane Wells Jr. from Ole Miss, going to the Giants. He's kind of thickly built, 6'1", 202 pounds. Last 2 seasons, there were productive moments, but kind of riddled by injuries a little bit. You go back to 2022 when he was like one of the top. Like Kiffin isn't bringing in, he isn't bringing in guys that aren't like highly sought after, right? For that offense, like there's a lot of guys that want to transfer into Ole Miss. 2022 at JMU, he had 15 touchdown catches. He's shifty. He's got a little bit, and he just creates after the catch. And now I look at the opportunity, right? As an undrafted free agent, that's what it's all about. Did I land in the right spot? And there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of teams reach out to him and his agent, and he chose this because, Malik's the star, Wandale's the 2. Darius Slayton's back for another year, but A, can they all stay healthy? And B, who's after that? He's got a chance to come in as an undrafted guy and be the number 4, number 5 receiver. And I hear Jalen Hyatt's the most proven. And I know there's hope that he can kind of step up and become the guy or become a guy. But he hasn't shown it. He hasn't shown it yet. He had 8 catches last year, dude. And there's only one other wide receiver. I mentioned the top 3: Malik, Wandale, and Slayton. And then there's Hyatt with 8 catches. There's only one other wide receiver with a catch. And it was 2 catches on that entire roster. And so there's opportunity here. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Only 5 receivers actually caught the football for the New York Football Giants last year.
That's crazy.
Only 5. And combined, I forget who the 5th one was. Hyatt and the 5th wide receiver, they combined for 10 catches. Go get some, Wells. Then I'm going to go with I'm going traitsy here. Isaiah Neyor out of Nebraska, formerly Texas, formerly Wyoming, right? Wyoming, he was really productive. Texas, it didn't work out. Nebraska, just the traits have never met up with the production. But now you go with Shanahan, and you go a receiver group that needs maybe someone to come in out of nowhere, right? And then listen to these traits, bud. 6'4", 218 pounds, 34 3/8 inch arm. We were begging for half of our first round offensive tackles to have arm length like that. That's stupid. He ran a 4.4 at the combine at that size. 11.1 broad jump. 38-inch vertical with those arms, the catch radius, right? He's got too much talent not to get an opportunity to compete for a role. And then, you got Brandon Ayuk, you got Ricky Pearsall, you got Juwan Jennings. But after that, it's Cowing and Demarcus Robinson and the 4th round pick and Watkins. I don't know. I think he's a guy to watch out for.
Yeah, especially in that offense, because I think that they can get, if he's able to develop, they can get the most out of that kind of a skill set. I think that big frame who can, has got some speed.
Look at him. Catch.
Yeah, there you go.
It does not take the best route runner to get open in that thing.
No, and it's some of it's it's leverage and boxing guys out, and that's what he can do. Yeah, I don't hate it. Again, you're right. Opportunity and whether or not you get the opportunity, and then who's throwing you the ball, what scheme are you in, all of that stuff comes into play. For my last guy, I'm going with the Eagles. I think Howie Roseman makes a genius move, and he brings in Montrell Johnson Jr., the running back out of Florida. I look at that, and you have Will Shipley, who you took in the 4th round. He's going to be what Kenneth Gainwell was in that offense. He's going to be, that third down back who can help you out in the 2-minute offense. I liked Will Shipley coming out, but he's not a guy who's an every down back. He's just not built like that. He can play a role, but that's good. And then they signed A.J. Dillon. And A.J. Dillon's another back that I've loved over the course of his career, Quadzilla. What's not to like about a 245-pound running back, man? I've loved him, but he didn't play last year because of a neck injury. They signed him to a 1-year deal, and I don't know. I think you should probably be bringing in other backs just to make sure you have the depth and the insurance policy that A.J. Dillon doesn't work out. And of course, listen, everything's going to go through Saquon. He's still going to have that monster workload. I get that. But Montrell Johnson Jr. is a talented back that I think, again, in a lot of years would have got drafted. This just happens to be a historic running back class with how deep it is. This kid runs well. He's built well. He breaks tackles. There's when I watch him on tape, the flashes are impressive. He's got to, I'm not sure how much of a receiving role he's going to play early on. I think he's going to have to develop more in that area, but he's a guy that can get carries behind Barkley and provide depth for them. And that's exactly what I like about him and making an impact for an Eagles team is he's a guy who's going to come in and can maybe take a little bit off of the load of Saquon, and he's running behind that outstanding offensive line talent. I mean, for me, he may not get, again, when we're talking about this, he may not be a guy a fantasy guy, but for the Eagles, he could carve out a role that helps them keep Barkley healthy and fresh.
Love it. This is fun.
Yeah.
Call me in November.
I think I won again. Pretty sure I won again.
Yeah. Okay. Call me in November when Colston, Loveland, and Luther Burden are fighting for offensive rookie of the year. With Nash and Genty's on the. I won't say it.
Do you have like a second home in Chicago? Like, what's the deal, man? Like, you just love
Bears fans. We appreciate. Summarizing everything. I got a big call in the morning with the dog walking party with Connor. We're going to talk about what the rest of the offseason looking like, and I think people are going to be excited about it.
Poor Connor.
We're the not fucking around crew. So why are we trying to mess around?
I get it. Yeah.
Secondly, if you know someone, an executive with one of these golf companies, I don't care if it's Ping or Callaway. Okay. Shoot a note, send in the comments, like, subscribe, all the fun things. We appreciate you watching on YouTube, Spotify, listening and podcasts, Apple, wherever else you prefer your podcast downloaded. We will be back on Thursday morning, man.
Yeah.
We might have a whole new lineup, and we might have a date scheduled to go get Muench fitted for some golf clubs. Until then, enjoy your week. Later.
Thank you.
Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. Or 18 plus and present in D.C. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.